Hello viewers and welcome to my channel. In this video we're going to be looking at control structures in Python. uh, there are some times that you need to control the progress of your lines, the execution of your coding lines. Sometimes you want to skip a portion of the code based on a certain condition, if it's fulfilled or not, because by default your codes are executed line by line, but you want to skip some of the or you want to repeat some of the lines of code. How you do that is what I call the control structures, and in this video we'll be looking at if statements, while loops, for loops, and try blocks. So now let's start with if statements. If is when you have a condition. If it's fulfilled, then you want to do something. If it is not, then what else do you do? So that's this is if condition. Do the following up, because if condition one, the format is in Python. You use colon and indentation. I know there's some other programming languages where you use is curly brackets, but it's not done in Python. Your indentation shows everything you want to do after. So if condition is met, put your colon and then indent. If you need to put something like an else if, in Python is called elif. Elif condition 2, then you do the following. Elif condition 3, as much else if you need. Of course, it's not a must that every of your code, every of your problem that you're solving has to have an elif. So in case you want to have a general catch, something you can have something like else, that is if any of the above conditions still did not get fulfilled, then do this if no condition was met. And let's get that one and see how you do this in real situation. Here we go. So we're gonna have, let's say, x equals 70, and then the next line I say okay, if so we say if x is greater than 50, then greater or equals to 50, then we say it's a pass. Don't forget colon, and we say print pass. Congratulations, you passed. And you can decide to end there, or you decide to say okay, else you shift your indentation back and say else, and say print fail. That is, if it is not greater or equals to 50, you print fail, and then we can end up from program. So let's run this. So you see, passed. We can decide to change this. So okay, let's say it scores 40 and run this. You say failed. So if you want to develop this further, you can say yeah, that's not just when you're greater or equals to 50. Or what if you it scores 80, then you say wow, that's a distinction. Okay, you can come here and say, then that's elif comes in. Oh, else if x is greater or equals to 80, and they say, wow, you made a distinction. um okay, the yeah, it's except we tweak this should come before this, because if this condition is met, then it's not going to go to elif, it's not going to go to else, it's going to exit this condition blocks. So you have to get this first here. So if x is greater or equals to 80, then you see we made a distinction. And if it is not, then you say, okay, we need to check what if is greater or equals to 50, and again you say pass. Else if it's not, then you say failed. What if you want to catch it? In case it's something invalid, you just say, okay, else if x is less than 50, failed, and then I'll say else invalid. Something, oh, I don't understand this, your input. Just in case, because if I make x to be equals to, let's say, -1, that doesn't make sense. So it's just a way of making your code robust enough. So this works. It's failed. So let's make x to be 0. Around the same thing again. Failed. What if it's -1? Yeah, or something, maybe a string. Oh no, that'll make an error. Or maybe you want to say, well, if it's greater than 100, then that's invalid. Um, Let me try this. Yeah, it says an error because it's expecting. Okay, so that explains it. Okay, now let's talk about inline if statement. This is different a little from the not regular if statement, because it's used in a line. So let's say the format is this. You say executes tasks if a condition is met, else this. So let's do an example. I'll say, okay, if it's weekend, then your wage should be so, and if it is not, so okay, I say date is weekday, and then you say rate is let's say $25 per hour. The 0 if date is weekday. else it's 50. So oh, yeah, sorry, we made a mistake. In this is an assignment. When you a single equal is an assignment, so you if you're making a comparison, then it has to be a double. So now you can say print rate, or you check it out here. You say it's 25. You see 25. Let's change weekday to be week at end, and then run that code again. So print rate, you see it's 50 because it sees that it's not weekend. So that's how it works. Your if statement, bear in mind that if statement does not come first. It's what you want to do, it comes first. So it's not like the regular, and then it's always on a single line. It's not something you break down to where it's not something you use colon, use indentation. It's just if you want to quickly assign a variable depending on a condition and all that. Okay, so now let's talk about for loops. Um, the format is for item in iterable. Iterable is any thing that can be iterated through, that can be looped through. It could be a string, it could be a list, a tuple. It's something that allows Python to go through something like a list, an array. Okay, so the first one we're going to be looking at is for item in iterable. Do the following lines of code. So it's going to do all this for each item in this list or string or tuple. So let's see how this works. So yeah, I've said I created a list, my list output table for item in my list. So usually I like to put something like every here, so it helps me to understand. But when you're writing your code, it's not really there. So just in your English, because it makes it closer to your natural speaking language. So first, create a list you want to loop through. You have a list or a tuple or a string you want to loop through, and then you identify every member of every element of the array by whatever name you want to call it. I can change this and say, okay, for every fruit in my list. Okay, that's the way I did it here. Fruits is this. So for every fruit in fruits, that way I make sure I call my list by the plural. So for every fruit in fruits, print fruits. For every, I'm gonna change this item in. So you see how this works. So prints this. Same thing for this. It prints everything. Now, of course, it's not. It doesn't have to be print. Whatever you want to do with each member, you may want to do a search. You may want to do whatever you want to do. It's going to run this for this, run this for orange, run this for mango, and when it's done, that's when you can proceed to the next. You can get out of that loop and do whatever it is to do. So another thing, let's talk about the range. Range is a function in Python that helps us to create an attribute list with a start, end, and step. What I mean is this: when you call the range function, You can see it looks for where do you want to stop. So if I say range of 10, so it's going to produce an iterable from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and stop at 9. And if I, in case I don't want to start at 0, I want to start at, let's say, 5. I'm going to put it here 5. So this means create an attribute for me from starting from 5 to 10 minus 1, just before 10. So it's very useful for a for loop, because what if I don't have a list? I don't want to create a list. I don't want to. So I just say for every, also don't forget every is not there, for every number, let's say num in range days, don't forget your colon, then you say print the num. Let's see how this works. So so you say 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What if you want to step? You don't want it to 5, 6. You want to jump by 2. Then you add this here. So what you have is 5, 7, 9, and stop there. 5, 7, 9. So it's very useful when you want to go in a loop. The range function helps. Maybe you want to you want to evaluate all prime numbers, all odd number from 1 to 10, 1 to 100, wherever it's. This is a function that you can use. Not sure I want to do that here, but of course, well, how that will work is you do a condition here and say if it's the odd number is basically divisible by non-divisible by 2 with a remainder. So you can call your modulus. You check the modulus by 2. If the remainder is 0, modulus is when the remainder after division. So if it's the remainder after a division is 0, then um you know it's an even number. If it's not, then it's an odd number. So that way this range function is a very powerful one. Okay. Okay, how do you loop through a string that is something I created? Say, okay, let's say alphabet is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. There. So, for every letter in alphabet, print the letter. What would that give us? It's going to take this from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D, E. It's going to go through everything and print for us. So it's basically the same thing. It works with strings because strings are I troubles in Python. You see? All right. What about another function we call enumerate? Enumerate is useful where you uh, not just need the index. Yeah. Okay. The example is there. I'll say for index and fruits. So enumerate comes in where you don't. Let's say, let me come back to the previous example. Okay, so fruits is apple, orange, mango. For every fruit in fruit print, and now I need the position of what fruits we're looping. We're currently in. So I want to say something like the first fruit is this. My best fruit, my next best fruit, my third best fruit, my second best fruit, my last best fruit, or something like that. Sometimes you need it. So enumerate comes in this function. So I say for index, you the only difference now is you adding your index, or maybe you call it position, let me say, okay, pos position for every position fruits in enumerate fruits prints at position pos is this at position. So let's see how this works. Our position 0 is apple. We don't know. Okay, so maybe we want to set the first, second. Of course, that will require some little extra coding, because first, second, third, you can just say 0th, just add th here and it works. So you have to first do a condition check. If it's 1, if it's 2, then don't say the one's position is already the tooth, because it doesn't. Okay, so that's not what we're learning today. You can take that as an assignment and work through how you can do that. Okay, so that is about for loops. Now let's proceed to while loops. How do while loops work? Okay, it's similar to for loops, except with the syntax, the way it's ordered. While loop runs kind of endlessly until it encounters a condition changer. So while a condition is in place, it continues. So in when you're using while loops, you need to be careful to make sure you have a condition changer, and you consider that your changer is valid. Okay, otherwise we just have an endless loop. Let's see an example. So the first thing you want to make sure you set is your condition initializer. So I want to say, okay, while counter is less than 5, colon, indent, print counter, and then the condition changer, because if you miss this, counter is never going to be more than 5. It's always going to be less than 5, and your while loop, your computer just continue print counter, it continues forever. Okay, so you want to make sure you have something that increments, that makes sure that sometime in the future this condition is going to change. The condition, no condition must be permanent. Don't forget, every time, a lot of people forget this, every time you're using your while loop, your counter must be set such that in future the condition will change. No condition must be permanent. So what is just a print, uh, 0 1, print 1 till 4, and after 4 you see it comes a while counter. Is counter still less than 5 now? Because here you just incremented. This is an increment symbol, so you incrementing wherever it's equivalent to counter equals counter plus 1. So you just incremented it. It's now 5. It comes there. Why counter is less than 5? Oh, counter is 5 already. It's not less than 5. So it exits this while loop. But as long if it miss this, then it's never going to be. So this condition is, as long as this condition is fulfilled, everything indented under this while loop continues to run. Okay. Let's see the next one. This example, I say, okay, let's say high is 0, query is orange. This example we demonstrate the use of break. Here I say some loop control keywords. Sometimes again you want to maybe exit a loop prematurely, or you want to check some conditions and say, oh, we'll be wasting our time if we continue to go through this loop. Maybe you're searching for something and you see that, oh, this thing I'm looking for in a loop, through a loop, there's no point running endlessly. It doesn't seem like we're gonna this condition to exit the loop, like for example a while loop that continues to run, and you just want to say, okay, maybe after 10 counts, after 10 iterations, I just stop. Don't worry, save our time. Well, maybe after 1000, after 10,000, don't waste our time, just exit the loop. You want to exit the loop prematurely, the break keywords comes in, and but continue is used when you want to move on to the next iteration. The difference between the two, when you want to move to the next iteration, that's continue. So that means you stay continuing the loop. But break means, oh, you're exiting the loop. Let's see how it works. So in this example, I say in fruits, don't forget the fruits we created. Sometimes ago you can come and see here fruits, apple, orange, mango. Let's say I want to look for a certain query, orange, in this loop. So I'm gonna create a while loop, a while statement, while block to search, pick every fruit in fruits, and then uh check that fruit. Is it apple? Is it orange? If it's not, okay, go on. If it's orange, then that's okay. I found what I'm looking for. No, there's no point checking for mango if it's orange. Mango is not orange. So our condition initialization is usually a loop counter. So say I. In the other example, I said counter. Just use I here. I is 0. Query is orange. So while I is less than the length, this is a function that finds the length of this, the number of items in this list fruits. So that's 3. So it's going to, as long as the counter is less than 3, it's going to keep running this block statement. So it's print fruits number high, which in this case is starting from 0, the first element of this loop, of this list. So if that fruit, if it's double equals to query, which is orange, if it's orange, what do? Print, oh, query plus is found. And then if you found it, then you don't need to continue to run the next one. Just break the break keywords. Make sure you exit this while loop, and whatever statement is there, let's say print good, whatever statement is there can now run. So that's our, let's see. Says apple. The first print, the first fruit to use apple, then orange. Oh, orange is found. Then good. That's because it has exited. You didn't bother looking for mango. Oh, let's say we want to do the same for mango. Apple, orange, mango. Mango is found. Good. Same for, let's say we look for the first, which is apple. See, apple. You didn't bother going to the remaining elements. So that's how it works. That's how break works. Now what about how continue works? Okay. In this example I says, don't bother, it's not this complex. Scores in maths 10, overall scores 40, 7 is this 81. So I say names, Sammy, the names of the students who got this course. So I say I score 30 to 60, create a list of those who passed, and then now our initializer. So I say why high is less than length of scores and mass. I say print scores in mass equals this the format names to remember this one we talked about strings. So what this does is it's a placeholder, and then it puts these here, puts scores and mass here. So if scores and mass is less for the first student, if it's less than 50, print student failed mass and does not consider. So what this program tries to do is we want to see the students, the best students, student with good scores, but the condition is that he must pass mass. He must have a good score in mass. If the if it's not more, if it doesn't pass, if his overall score may be good, but if it doesn't pass mass, there's no point. So student fail mass and does not continue, increments high and continue. What continue will do is it won't bother going here. It forgets about whatever is here and just go to the next loop. Comes back here. Is it still less than length of scores in mass? If it is, then comes. So as long as this condition it sees this, it goes back. It doesn't he ignores whatever is after this. It goes to the next. That's how continue. Break, we end the loop. So thank you. So thank you. We found what we're looking for. But in this case, we say, oh, the guy didn't score. First check what's his math score. If it's score in maths is poor, then don't even consider him for overall best student. Don't bother. There's no point. So in case for he picks a student, let's say um this guy Handy, uh we look for someone. Okay, yeah, this guy scores 61 overall, 60 in math. So you first check what's your score in math. Score in math is not less than 50. So this whole block doesn't get executed. You just move on to the next. If overall score is greater than high score, then print. Oh, impressive. Name, you put the name. Mike is impressive. Scored what? Scores in maths. Then pass dot append. It appends the name of the student to the passed list. So at the end of everything, it says print this length of pass, so number of students passed, and then it prints the passed list. Okay, let's see. Let's run this. So that way, this is clear for continue. Continue is you just want to go to the next iteration. Break, you want to exit the entire loop. Now let's look at try and accept block. So you in try, sometimes you foresee that an error may occur executing a line of code or blocks of code. And one way to undo errors in Python is the try except block. In some other programming languages, the try catch finally. So here you just use try except. So what it does is try and colon and indents, and you say do the following error prone lines of code. Then so what except is when okay the error happens, what should the computer do? Let's see how this works. In this example, I am trying to see a division by 0 error. So say this is 0, x is 3, y is 0. I want to find z, which is a ratio of x to y, x divided by this. And since this is 0, I know it's a division by error, a division by 0 error. So I'm putting it in a try catch. So if it happens, except in just tell me print invalid denominator, and then say z is 0 and print z. Or I'll just say something like z is infinite, say that way, instead of me having an error. And this is a way of catching my error, telling my computer what to do if it finds error. Yeah. And let's say we change this to 1. Let's see what happens. So see, z is 3 divided by 1, which is 3. So we don't get, this doesn't run, except whatever is under the except block does not get executed if the error doesn't occur. But if it does, then it will run. So that's how it works. So far we've seen quite much. Remember we started with uh, control structures in Python. You see if statements, while loops, for loops, and try blocks. So you see if condition, then do the following. Always don't forget your colon and your indentation. If, and then if it's elif condition 2, elif condition 3, elif condition 4, as much as you need. And then the else in case none of the elif. It's not important. It's not compulsory to have else. It depends on your problem. For loops, you say we works with iterables. So iterables is whatever you can loop through. It could be a string, it could be a list, it could be tuple, So, and sometimes you want to loop through just numbers, and a range function comes in where you can say for every element in range, just set your start, set your stop, set your step, and then you can loop through strings too, because they are iterables. While loop, you use it when you want to do some lines of code. In while loop, you also don't forget to initialize your condition changer and to include your condition changer, so that you don't have an endless loop. And we talked about break, continue. Break is used to end a loop prematurely, that is, or when a certain condition is met and you feel you don't need to continue to go, to run, you can just use the break keyword. And for continue, you just want to go, you're already sure that this current iteration cannot produce what you desire, and decide it's not point trying to continue. So trying to, you already see that, oh, today's it's going to rain, so there's no point continue the rest of the day. Take me to Tuesday, take me to Wednesday. So that's why continue is useful. And we talk about try and except in cases where you foresee an error might occur, and then that error, put it in a try block. And when it happens, what do you want the computer to do? Put that in the except block. If it doesn't happen, the except block will not execute. So thank you for watching this video. The next class, we should be talking about functions and modules. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.